full bottle of argon, something new in the box, and a shower pan that needs to be finished. I think I know what we're doing today. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to the shop. This is our 2013 Mitsubishi Fuso FG that I'm slowly turning into an Overland camper. I am halfway through a lot of jobs in here, but today we're gonna try and finish the shower pan. The last time I managed to struggle my way through the first two corners being welded up, and this was my first time TIG welding stainless. And I had a little bit of trouble seeing with my 20-plus-year-old speed glass, and that got me thinking. When a new technology comes to the market, it tends to be expensive. Over time, that technology improves, and so does the price point. So here's my question. What do we get 20-plus years later for about a tenth of the price? We're about to find out. Yeah, let's see how this works. So with the shallow end of the pan already welded, I now have to weld the deep end, and this means I've got to weld an entire wall across the whole end. Now my best results last time came from fuse welding with no filler rod, so I'm gonna try to fuse weld the outside because it's basically a nice tight seam like I had when I tried that fuse weld. And once again, the corners will be the difficult part because I don't really have something to properly back it there. But as long as it's watertight, I'm not overly concerned because this is gonna be underneath the floor and underneath the back end. So nobody's ever gonna see it except everybody on the internet that watches this video. Ooh. The reality is we're really just talking about this last little piece of corner here because the rest of it will have aluminum backing holding it square. That's better. Yeah, what did I say last time? Ooh. Sensitivity needs to go up a little bit. That's for sure. Let's try that. Oh, gotta keep my gas there. Well, after the first 4.5 seconds of welding, here's what I can tell you. Gotta have the sensitivity up higher than the middle for TIG welding, at least what I'm doing. 2, I can see what I'm doing both before and during the weld, which is good. And 3, it's pretty comfortable. So far for 50 bucks Canadian at the time I bought it, I would say that over the last 20 plus years, the technology and price points have definitely improved. Now, let's go do some welding. Well, the first couple of tacks are in place, and it is way easier to see with this helmet. I should have bought one of those years ago. I mean, not like 25 years ago because I did, but maybe in the last 5 years. Here's where we are. Got everything nice and flush all the way along the edge. Just a couple of little tacks to hold everything in place. And now what I need to do is zip the top off, and before I go any further, do a test fit. While I'm at it, I'm going to trim the excess off the shallow end as well. After the cut, a flap disc makes quick work of any of the sharp edges left behind. For this gauge of stainless, a zip disc is by far the quickest and cleanest way to cut through. The only downside is they can wear down fairly quickly. You do also need to be pretty careful with zip discs as they can shatter and send shrapnel flying. Now, during this cut I thought everything was going well, but looking at things slowed down, you can see how much the disc is actually warping and flexing while cutting, which is kind of scary. Trimmed, cleaned, and ready to go. All right, moment of truth. Last test fit. If it doesn't fit, I gotta cut it apart. If it does fit, I can finish welding it. Oh, that's a tight fit. But it's in. The next question, can I get it out? For the next bit of welding, I'm actually gonna try doing it standing up. So this is a nice flat weld if I do it this way. It's a bit of an odd height, but I think it's gonna be easier than trying to do the whole thing as a horizontal weld. I've got my plate underneath here as the backer. I've got a weld tacked here, and I've got a little dot here that tells me that's the end of my plate, don't go past. I'm just gonna do a very short stitch and just see how it goes doing more than one dot. All right. Well, it worked. It's not a pretty TIG weld, but it's fused. I'm gonna try one more on the other side of that tack coming from the corner. I'm gonna go a little more slowly and a couple more steps. Go this way a little bit, get the heat away from the edge. Oh, that one's better. I don't know what it looks like on the inside, but the outside came out pretty decent. For somebody who's never really done this before, I think I can be pretty happy with this, but let's see if I can keep it going and maybe even get it a little better. Here's a closer view of what's happening. You can actually see the heat pushing down into the side plate. All right, you tell me, what's more interesting? Seeing it in regular amount of light or seeing it through the lens? And also, is it better in real time or in time lapse? Some of you are probably yelling at me and probably posted comments in the last video, which by the way isn't out yet when I'm filming this one. And you're probably completely right that I have been missing something very important. So I'm gonna fix that now. Before I go any further, you need this for welding stainless. Now we'll keep going. The next question, of course, does it fit under the helmet? And unfortunately, it does, but it's a little bit of a tight squeeze and adjustment. Let's see how it feels. I don't know if you can hear me. Let's get another short little stitch at the end here. All right, here we go. Oh, you don't need to go like this when your helmet's already down. It's so clear, I forgot my helmet was down. This helmet has adjustments for sensitivity, delay, and can be adjusted from a shade 9 to 13. Way more options than I had in my old helmet. I wasn't actually breathing during that. I should probably do that. That looks all right. I've got to be really careful not to put too much heat into this. I really don't know if you can hear me right now, but that's why I'm doing a lot of little short welds, because I don't want this to warp this way, and I don't want it to warp this way. It'll have a harder time warping this way because this flat plate is holding it, but this piece could easily bow out because of the heat on this side, and I don't want that. All right, let's try another one. Another little short one. That one I like how that came out. If I can repeat that over and over again, I'll be happy. All right, we're gonna start around there. So
Downside number one, and the only one I've found so far for this helmet, it'd be nice if it was just a little bit wider. There we go.
Wider. Like if my helmet had wheel flares so the filters could fit in. Sounds like a 3D printing project is in order.
For some reason, I did the same thing there. It didn't come out quite the same. So I think one of the things that I can be doing is actually taking longer steps in between. I think I'm used to taking little teeny tiny movements, and I think I can move quite a bit quicker than what I am.
Let's try again. Okay, so maybe not the prettiest welds in the world, but also I'm not blowing holes through, which is kind of important when you're trying to make something that's supposed to be watertight. The camera seems to have a little bit of difficulty trying to focus close and far at the same time. Sorry. I'm sure it's not helping my welds that I'm sucking up this kind of water-stained dirtiness. You can see it's dirty, and I'm pulling that up into the weld, so that's probably not helping. Let's get your lid down. Wow, you can really see the heat pushing into the material from this angle.
Okay, this is a bit of a trick because the corner here doesn't have backing, and I don't know where that ends, so hopefully we don't do too much nasty on the inside here. All right, looks all right on the outside. I'm all right with that. And now for my next trick. This one is going to be done, hopefully, left-handed, which can be a little difficult. See if we can do this in one go from here to the end.
I think I'm starting to get used to the silence of stainless, a big difference compared to aluminum. If only I could remember to breathe while I'm welding.
Well, I didn't blow through. I think I was going a little too slowly, but let's see. Could be worse. I think that was either too slow, probably, or too hot, which is kind of the same thing. So left-handed, I need to go what I think is faster. TIG welding in itself is not the quickest process. The fact that I'm having to stop and let things cool down makes it even slower, and that's compounded even more by having to set up and move a camera every time. So I think what I'm gonna do is put you away, finish this up, and I'll bring you back when I'm done. It just occurred to me that I never checked the flow rate on my gas bottle when I hooked the new bottle up. I just checked it now and I was at 5 liters a minute. I should be around 12. So that's probably why some of my welds are looking a little bit dirty. Well, of course, on the very last welds, which was the corners, I decided I didn't want to blow through, so I turned the temperature on the pedal, I backed off really far. Those were the best welds that I did. Right there.
Get the camera to focus. As far as I'm concerned, that and that on the corners, that's what the whole thing should have looked like. It's not the prettiest, but it's not overly horrible. I managed to do it without burning through anywhere with big nasty blobs on the inside. And I would say by the end I was better than I was at the beginning. As for this, game changer for me, I can see what I'm doing now. The only thing I wish is that it was a little bit wider so it would fit over the respirator when I go, instead of having to pull it out each side and lower it over the respirator. But other than that, very happy. The only question that I'm left with is, before I install it, should I be welding the inside? It is intended to hold water on the inside, and with the weld on the outside, there's still a microscopic crack or gap along the inside. But it is stainless steel, so it's not like it's gonna corrode in there. So is that okay? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And of course, the most important question of all, does it fit? Well, I mean, we've test fit it like 7 times by now, but yeah, of course it fits. But maybe the question that you want the answer to is, if there's no drain in this pan, where is the water going? And that is where these little pumps come in, with one pump in each corner. The bulk of the water will be sucked up by the pump and shot out of the discharge, which will go to the gray water tank. And with one pump installed in each back corner, it doesn't matter if the truck is tipped one way or the other, we'll still get the bulk of the water. And if you want to know how I'm going to get rid of the rest of the water, you're going to have to hit subscribe, because there's a special trick coming for that. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Check out the links in the video description. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. I think today we're hitting 5,000. Small number, but big for me. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.